Hello, everyone. Kathy Iconis here with Kibio Chat, and I am so excited today to have Michael I here with Saasable, and Andrea is coming into like last second.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what's happening? Hi.
Hello.
We're live right now. I am waiting for some attendees to trickle in because
Great.
that's how it's always this like weird little like thing that people kind of
Mhm.
slowly get in here. Now,
Sure.
see, I'm starting to see some names come in.
Yeah.
Um, and every on the replay, I swear people think must think I'm crazy because I'm just sitting there like, okay, where's people? Where's people? Where's people? So I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about Sassable and all the fun stuff that's going on. Um, let's see, chat's working. One thing I'll ask is that if you guys have questions, please use the Q&A panel. It helps us track it better and everything. I'll be helping with that as well. And I think we're doing pretty good on people joining in and rolling in here. So, how about you guys let me know that the audio and everything is working fine? Because I've had a crazy couple weeks. I'm just waiting for technology to stop working at
Mm.
any point in time. So put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A, whatever it is. Let us know we're all good to go, and then we'll kick it off. You know, what's nice is like when no one says anything. So that must mean it's not working, right? Like I'm telling you, it's like, come on, anyone, anyone, anyone. Oh, yeah. See that? Okay, one. I don't care. We're
Thank
good.
you, Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, thank you.
Yay.
Yes, it's like, I'm telling you, my luck. It, okay, we're good. Michael, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us all about Amazing Sassable and what we as bookkeepers, how we can use that to help us in our practices.
Yeah. So quickly, thank you so much for having us on. And my name is Michael Lee. I'm the CEO and founder of Saasable. You may know me also as the CEO and founder of Reconciled. If you followed my journey, I run I for the past 5 years ran an online, nationally recognized, very fast growing online bookkeeping and advisory practice based here in Burlington, Vermont, but with employees in 9 states. We're, I think, past 40 employees now, and we have hundreds of customers that we serve across the country, all doing remote bookkeeping and advisory work. And this is Andrea Denome, and she is our customer success lead full time. Say hi, Andrea.
Hello, everyone.
And Andrew works with all of our customers, both the accountants that sign up for the product as well as for any startups that sign up to use the product as well. And we'll be showing you a demo of it, of course, on this webinar and answering any questions related to it. And so just to give you a quick backstory, Saasable came out of my experience running Reconciled and working with recurring revenue companies. When you start working with recurring revenue companies, the basic financial reports that you get in QuickBooks and Xero and other products, they become pretty much not useless, but they're not very relevant for these recurring revenue companies, because recurring revenue companies by nature are solely focused on recurring revenue metrics. And what do I mean by that? Recurring revenue metrics are basically the kind of metrics that a recurring revenue company tracks. So think of a software company, software as a service company. Think of a online bookkeeping firm. Think of a digital marketing agency. Think of an IT services company. Anybody that has recurring agreements with their customers, whether it's memberships or whether it's subscriptions, whatever you want to call it, they solely and highly focus on the growth of those subscriptions or those memberships or that recurring revenue and the costs related to acquiring those kind of customers. So as I'll show you in the product demo, that those metrics are not things that you report on GAAP financials. They just don't show up on the income statement as recurring revenue and customer acquisition costs and LTV, churn rates. All those things have to be measured outside. So running Reconciled, I would have to spend a few hours to a day per customer basically building these custom reports for our customers. because there were no easy tools outside of Excel or Google Sheets to do that. And that's what we would leverage these tools for. So we built Saasable primarily to serve that market, to serve the recurring revenue customer, as well as the startup that's tracking these metrics, so that you as an accountant don't have to spend time building these spreadsheets. And if you as a bookkeeper accountant have ever had to deal with deferred revenue and tracking a deferred revenue balance, this kind of product is relevant for you. If you have clients that are software companies or service companies with recurring revenue, like online bookkeeping firms, this is going to be relevant for you. And if you find yourself spending more time building those spreadsheets or Google Sheets and not being able to get to actually advising your customers, or you want to actually learn the language of recurring revenue and be a better advisor and get into this advising of recurring revenue companies, this product's for you as well. So without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the product real quick.
I'm like,
here.
Michael, did you watch my Facebook Live this morning? Because it was all about, like, I don't remember the terminology Michael was talking about, but this will help you learn all of this and understand what everyone's looking at.
Exactly. So this is Saasable, and Saasable, this dashboard is the base and heart of it. It's right on the dashboard screen. This is pulling from a live QuickBooks Online file. So this is a live QuickBooks Online file that we set up. It's called the Saasable Demo. We filled it with real information, like real invoices, real sales receipts, expenses, and we filled it in. The demo's pulling directly from it. And you'll notice every month it's pulling in the most recent month that finished, and then the trailing 12, so that you always have a view of the trailing 12. That is what recurring revenue companies are always looking at. They use the acronym TTM, trailing 12 months, all the time.
Okay.
And they're measuring the growth of that trailing 12. So you'll notice monthly recurring revenue as the first kind of metric that you're looking at. ARR is the annualized recurring revenue, and we have it both in a rolling framework, meaning if we take your last month that's finished, you multiply by 12, you'll get this number, or a trailing framework, meaning what's the last 12 months tell us about your recurring revenue. When you hover over the different information, what's unique about Saasable is you get immediate insight into what are the different colors mean. So monthly recurring revenue, MRR collected, MRR churn, all important information. We also have a little icon here in info box. Why MRR? What does it mean? Why is it important? So if you're completely new to this terminology, you're completely new to serving these kind of customers, or if you're a startup and you're like, my investor told me to track MRR. I don't know what it means. I don't know why it's important. We're giving you that information and education right in the product. Okay. So we're both educating as well as informing you and making it easier to get these metrics. The other piece, yeah, go ahead.
Michael, I know I'm going to throw you for a little loop here.
Yeah.
On this first one, the monthly recurring revenue, I know numbers are probably a little wacky, but what would you read this chart to say?
Yeah. So for example, on this chart, I would say, okay, look, looks like you had a huge jump in MRR from June and July. Did you get a big customer? Did you have a big sales deal promotion? Did you get a lot of signups? You had a lot of MRR, but looks like your MRR collected is low. What happened? Did you forget to bill all of them? Charge all of them? Did your payment system not sync to QuickBooks correctly, or not sync to Saasable correctly? Those are all things that could be off.
I'm like, it wouldn't be a free trial because that wouldn't show up on the MRR, right?
No, exactly. It wouldn't be a free trial. It wouldn't show up on MRR. MRR is actually you're charging the customer. It's showing up in QuickBooks as a invoice right now. It's an open invoice, okay, in QuickBooks, but it didn't show you collected it. So that invoice is open. It's not paid, right? It's unpaid. And it's not showing up as a sales receipt in QuickBooks either, because the sales receipts would show up as MRR and MRR collected.
Right.
So we went down to that level of detail. You can also click on the MRR, and you'll get the data directly from QuickBooks on which sales receipts and invoices this pertains to. So you can go, oh, okay, great. Why is this so high? Oh, wait a second. You know what? This Johnson & Johnson, this is actually not MRR. This Johnson & Johnson, that's a setup fee. That's not recurring. See, that's the kind of information that somebody working with MRR customers, they get used to this kind of rhythm. Or Microsoft, oh, this invoice, this is completely new. I didn't know oh, the salesperson team didn't tell me they did this deal. What's
Yeah.
going on? I need to go back and go, oh, you got a new deal. Wait, this 9,000's for a year. Okay, I need to go back and adjust this. So
Okay.
this gives you insight, and I'll show you where we adjust this stuff. But that might be the reasons, the big reasons why the
Awesome.
charts tell us and what it signals to us. And so we color coded it to make it really easy. On this other metric here is customer acquisition cost. That's what CAC means, customer acquisition cost. When you click on the icon, we give you the information about it. What is it? It's the cost of acquiring a new customer. And so one of the biggest challenges, we talk about here is for SaaS companies or any kind of startup is keeping your customer acquisition costs really low compared to what you charge on a monthly basis. So imagine if you only charge, let's say you charge $25 a month for something, for a piece of software, or even a monthly training subscription you have, right? As QBO chat, right?
Right.
So if you charge that, but it costs you $1,000 to get a new customer to sign up for a $25 subscription, it's going to be a long time for you to make money on that customer, right?
Right.
So the rule of thumb is you want your customer acquisition costs to be no more than 3 times what your subscription charge is going to be. The reason why is you want to be able to recoup that cost in 3 months.
Wow.
Right? You want to be able to do that pretty quickly. So there's a rule of thumb in SaaS space. Now, SaaS has been talking about this all, the software as a services industry is talking about this all day long. But the other industries that are new to recurring revenue, they don't know how to look at this. They don't know how to talk about it. So this is where we teach you, like, hey, your costs are getting real high. So notice here, I got a lot of revenue here, but it costs me a lot to get that. So am I going to be able to recoup in that MRR? Am I going to be able to recoup the cost of those customers? Right now it's saying 8, right? This number here tells me, okay, from an LTV to cost, long-term value to CAC ratio, this scores an 8. It's going to take me 8 months to recoup what I charged. Is that good or bad? It depends on the industry you're in, right? The general rule again in SaaS is you want it to be 3. You want it to be 3 months, because then you can spend that all day long and get it back pretty quickly in 1 quarter.
Right. And then, I mean, thinking about, I'm just like, what kind of examples would be really long, like an 8-month thing? And I'm just kind of like the whole, taking that long to recoup is kind of scary.
And some places it is that way because they're spending, let's say, $50 for a $5 a month subscription. Think about what it costs to do Google AdWords, Facebook ads, the time it takes to set up somebody. It costs you $50 to $100 a customer to get $5 subscription. Well, it's going to take you, but if that $5 subscription, if in your industry that customer stays for 5 years generally,
well, that's the thing.
It might not be bad.
Yeah. And so, this is that what goes into churn a little bit?
Yeah, that goes what's in the churn is what's happening on churn. Are you losing customers? What percentage of customers are you losing on a monthly or annual basis? So in the last ending month, we saw a 24% churn. So that's comparing the churn rate from the previous month, right? That's not a good churn rate. You want these churn rates to be really low. I mean, you want them to be down in the, single percentiles or less. So that's not a good churn rate, right? And obviously we're using demo data to show you that.
No, that's fine.
We want you to see, like, hey, this is giving you real data. Like, this signals, okay, you improved it in July, you lost nobody. Then August, what happened? You lost 35% of your customer base. What happened there? That's a big deal. And so that's really important. So anyways, these are the kind of things we get down to the CAC level. CAC is taking in your customer acquisition costs, and you're able to tell Saasable, hey, this is literally the chart of accounts from QuickBooks. I want you to include or exclude these things from customer acquisition costs. And what is that? Customer acquisition cost is any expense it took you to get new customers. So that would be all your sales and marketing. That would be all your digital ad spend. That would be the cost of employees that only work on customer acquisition. So that's going to be really, really important. So we're able to get CAC to update and see change right here. It gives you here's what's making up your customer acquisition costs, and then it automatically updates everything else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing with COGS. Same thing with your COGS expenses. We're able to go in and pull in what really is part of your COGS, and you know that just because it is or isn't in QuickBooks as COGS,
Right.
doesn't mean it isn't COGS, right? And so here is where you go, hey, you could be advising the customer, hey, for purposes of your recurring revenue, your cost of goods sold is actually the hosting provider. If you're a software company, it's the labor to deliver the digital marketing. That's cost of services, because who would have done that work to do the digital marketing? It's the feed that you pay Facebook, and so they might not have that categorized as cost of services, but you need it to be for this purpose. So you do that here. So that's the, so now where's the beauty of this? Well, the beauty is it takes no setup to get this initial setup. You just literally single sign on to QuickBooks. We're building out single sign on to Xero and to Stripe as well, and to other billing platforms and accounting platforms. Okay, we started with QuickBooks because obviously it's the most used cloud-based platform, QuickBooks Online. So QuickBooks Online, it's single sign up straight from the QuickBooks App Store. You can go there, sign up, and there is a free version you can sign up for, where if you're the only user and you have one QuickBooks file, you can get this data in on a dummy file you set up, or on a customer that you're working with and you want to check out this app. Completely free to do.
Or bookkeeping, your bookkeeping firm.
Or your bookkeeping firm, yeah, your own firm. You could connect a QBOA file. I use this for Reconciled.
Yeah.
So I connect a QBOA file, our QBOA, and I put it on there, and I see everything. It helps me track things. So the beauty of it is, now I want to be able to now exclude or include or exclude customers, and I want to take a look at my customer information and metrics. Well, here at the top, where I'm showing you who's paying, who's new, who's lost, what's the net new number. That's all stuff that recurring revenue companies track. Now here I can go, hey, which customers are never recurring? Like, oh, American Airlines, they're inactive. American Airlines, whenever I bill them, that's for a one-time, consulting work I do or something. Or maybe you have a renter in here that you rent office space to, but QuickBooks is showing it as an invoice, right? And it has nothing to do with your business revenue. It's just something you have on the side. Caterpillar, oh yeah, they rent a parking lot I own as part of my business. They have nothing to do with the revenue. I'm going to inactivate them. The moment you do that, it updates everything. It updates all the information. And then on adjust metrics, we go down to the invoice level. So, you'll notice we just put in a bunch of different companies and names on here. But if I want to go to, let's say, a Allstate and go, okay, anywhere you see this wand, it means that there is information in here. And it's like, okay, this $15,000, I'm spreading it out over 1 month right now. I want to spread it over 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It's actually a prepayment for a period of time. Okay. So this is where I'm able to spread, or I can exclude this particular invoice from MRR altogether, because it's not relevant to MRR at all.
Right.
That's also important. So this lets us go to another level of drilling down the metric versus just the customer level. Now this is the invoice level. And anybody that's worked in recurring revenue knows companies have all kinds of charges they give, setup fees, onboarding fees, that have nothing to do with recurring revenue. So this is why we made it this screen, and you'll see it aligns directly with the information right out of QuickBooks, the invoice number, the date of the invoice, and what you want to do with it. And let's say I want to exclude this one here. Now it's going to adjust my information on that particular customer. See, on KPMG right there, it went down. So that's the beauty. Then I want to share. I want to give this information to Kathy. I want to share it with Andrea. I can share it here, make you an admin or a moderator, or give you read-only access. And this is where you would be sharing it with your investors or a banker or a CFO you're working with. I can refresh the data very fast just with the refresh screen there, icon there. Let me go back to the dashboard again. And then, yeah, we're back at the dashboard. So, so really Saasable, it speaks for itself. It's very easy to use. It's set up compared to our competitors. Most of our competitors, there's two reasons why. There's two advantages why Saasable is a better product. One is you don't have to change your billing platform to get this data. If you look at many of our competitors in the App Store, you have to completely move off of QuickBooks Online Merchants processing. You have to move off of Stripe. You have to move off of all the other payment platforms you use and only use them. and then they'll give you this data as their reporting as the reporting tool. But you'll be missing all of the other historical payments that have happened because they were on the old billing platforms. So that's one downside, you know.
And so then they're basically making money off the merchant service.
Exactly. They're not really a reporting platform. They're a merchant service platform. Yeah.
They found another, and I mean, more power to a whole bunch of apps that do this, but there's so many out there that have found some way to capture you in as a customer so that they can get the processing merchant service income off of it. Like you'll see it in every which way possible.
Yeah, and the moment they've locked you in there, when they're making good money on it, and secondly, they get you locked in, because it's really hard. It's very scary to leave a merchant processor, because you're like, all my customers are tied to that, all my charges, you know, and you risk churning your customer, that you risk losing them, because maybe I mean, you don't want this to be the case, but if you have a $5 or $10 a month subscription, they probably forgot about you on some level. You have a portion of customers forgot, but you don't want to lose that revenue. Right. And they maybe use you once a year. So you give them, if you switch billing, you give them pause and go, do I really need to use this?
Exactly.
I'm not going to put in my new credit card on the new billing system. You know, why would I do that?
I'm like, my ancestry.com. I let it go. But if you ask me to change and enter in my information again,
that'd be great. Yeah, you'll let it go. Yeah.
Let go of that.
Yeah, exactly. You'll just forget, you know, but there's all these little things. So that's the key to recurring revenue is you don't want to lose customers. And if you have to switch billing platforms, that's important. The other one on the flip side is, let's say you have a competitor of ours that you don't switch billing platforms. Okay. Well, they can't do single sign-on and connect like this. They make you go and get a certification or go through a training period, like for a half a day or a day, so you can learn how to do this. And then you've got to be a data scientist to take these little pieces of code and put them into your file. And so I tried a few of these products and went, man, I am not a data scientist. I know how to use Excel. I'm a tech savvy guy, but I don't have the patience or time to become an expert on this product. I just need this information very handy and very quick. So we built it to be just literally pull the data. It pulls the data in from a single, integrate your product like any other integration. And then you go in and you do your edits. So it's kind of like recurring revenue for dummies, you know, but we want to make you not a dummy. We want to make you smarter. We want to make you better at this. Yeah.
It's like, where are you going to spend your brain power on things? Like, do you really need to learn? I mean, tell you, I don't know, it was 5-7 years ago, I took a certification in an app similar to that. Right. And I'll tell you, I got certified. Still at the end of it, I'm looking at it going, I don't know what I'd create or do. I just sat there. I'm like, I'm supposedly an expert now, and I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. So it's pretty cool. So it's really, like you said, it pulls it all in, and then it comes down to you editing it to the specifics of the business.
Exactly. It comes down to that, and editing it, you see, very easy to do.
Yeah.
But also, let's say you didn't touch it. Let's say you got the data in, you didn't touch it. The amount of insights I have right now just from this data without it being touched is, okay, I didn't touch anything. This tells me something about your invoicing seasonality, right? It tells me July, something happened. June started, July, something happened, and then it tapered off a little bit in August. What happened with your business in those months? Already, it gives me insight into a question I can ask the customer, right? Something also happened in July where something happened with your billing system. Looks like you might have fixed it in August, you know, but it still has problems. Okay, that's another question I can bring up, right? So without even fixing it, I can tell you information from your QuickBooks file. I can give you that insight. So did you know that you're invoicing? Oh no, the bookkeeper I'm using or the accountant I'm working with, they didn't have the dates right, or sales went in there and did something and messed up the data. That's the other thing. So you know, we talked to a CFO the other day who works with a lot of SaaS companies, and he says with the other tools, it takes him weeks just to get familiar with their data and to get them set up on an Excel sheet. And then he can even start having the first conversation, real conversation that provides value. And we're going, no, stop wasting that time, provide value from day one, connect the data, and see it right now, you know, right away, and then work with your customer over time on editing it, and then they could even come in and edit themselves and make it very easy for them. But so that's a big piece about it.
And so two things I'm seeing here is in the stuff that I teach and I look at, one on month end, this would be a great tool to come in and see um, things that pop out and be like, oh, I need to check that and make sure I got that right. And, and like what you're saying, if you
Mhm.
see this and it doesn't look right, like maybe a payment wasn't processed right, or, maybe it's sitting out there somewhere in the wrong place, or I don't know, whatever it is, but it would pop out issues. So you could implement that into part of your month end process of like, hey, here's how to check. And especially if I want to hear more about the deferred revenue stuff, but yeah, like that can help with making sure you have the proper numbers in there. Um, and then the other thing is, yeah, all this advisory stuff, people make it sound so much more, like fancy
Right.
and complicated, but it's really just having a conversation with your
Mhm.
clients and like helping them come up with an understanding of what's going on and where it's going, and you kind of being on the same page with those. So, I mean, we're like the fortune tellers. We can read these things, and then they know the reality of what's going on in the business. You guys just chat about it,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It can be focused on asking the right questions,
Right.
you know.
And just like,
Um,
here's what I'm seeing. Hey, what's going on?
yeah,
And that deepens your relationship with a client, and back to churn, they last longer.
right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. You want that relationship built. And you talked about deferred revenue. So what we're doing in version 2 of our product, we're working on a Xero integration, a Stripe integration. We're working on the ability for once you've customized this, for ability for this to auto post journal entries, so that
Oh wow.
it actually starts reporting recognized revenue correctly, and therefore it's going to have a deferred revenue balance that's accurate, right? So
Okay.
right now everyone's tracking that deferred revenue balance in Excel and in Google Sheets.
I
We've
hate
seen
deferred revenue.
huge, yeah, seen huge spreadsheets of people tracking every single subscription, no matter how big or small the
Really?
subscriptions. They're tracking these small subscriptions to amortize revenue in Excel in single rows, and all these columns out going, 2, 3, 4 years. So we're going to have multiple year ability. We're going to have deferred revenue balance tracking, amortization, and posting back into the accounting system. So those are all pieces that we've gotten feedback on. We knew about because, of course, my experience running Reconciled and other accounts we've talked to. And so it's been, yeah, very, very positive feedback about it, but also a few features we'll have rolling out soon.
Can you show those, like how you had that split over several months
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
screen again?
yeah.
I
There
hope
you
I'm
go.
not like totally taking away your demo.
No, that's great. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, see that. So see here KPMG, you'll see that there's this 909 that seems to be regular, but then
Right.
this random 2000 that hits. What is that, right? And you'll often have this with recurring revenue, like, why are you charging them an extra $2,000 every quarter or 6 months? What is that? Oh, you have some kind of consulting fee you charge that's completely separate, that you're doing something else. Well, that's not MRR. Or
Right.
let's say it is MRR. Well, we need to spread it out. Kroger, this is a one-time $600 charge. That'll look like MRR. We should be ignoring that, so let's exclude that information from there. And so now, now KPMG is gone, and it adjusts all these numbers at the top, right? So that's the
Yeah.
kind
So
of,
that's, yeah, I'm like looking at that where the total sales per month is more of like what actually, if you're looking at a deferred revenue kind of thing, it would give you an idea,
yep,
right, of what should actually be reported as the revenue for that month. I mean, again, a double check, making sure, a sanity check
right,
on
right,
things versus what you have in the books,
exactly.
um, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, and then we have the same here as well. We have the same, pop up that where you adjusted your CAC and COGS accounts. We have it
mhm.
here to be able to do that from the screen as well. So it's not, we make it multiple places where you can include that information into your metrics.
People always freak out on me when I start putting stuff into COGS.
Yeah,
And I'm
they're like,
like,
that's not it.
really, I mean, I don't, most of my clients, I don't have to deal with like investors or gap or whatever. And I'm like, it comes back to, they just think of what's on the tax return and stuff. And I'm like, well, just because it's sitting in COGS on QuickBooks that I'm using for management reporting doesn't mean it's actually what you're going to report on the tax return. And like, yeah, I just, I'm like, we have this system, let's use it. But definitely that's pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
had another question.
Yeah.
I
So it
lost it.
looks like one of your audience members or one of the watchers said, attendees said that monthly bookkeeping clients. Yeah, like obviously most of us are providing bookkeeping or we're in that business. So you have people you're doing bookkeeping for or accounting work for or CFO work for on a monthly basis. This is a great tool for you to track this and make sure that you're doing that correctly, but also to see the growth in a visual fashion, so you can show your team or with your management team or talk to people about how your business is doing.
Yeah, and then I was talking about it this morning because I was reading examples, and you have different industries from entertainment, digital marketing, cloud accounting, IT managed services, entertainment subscriptions, and SaaS. Um, yeah, I'm totally. What kind of entertainment stuff are you talking about?
Oh,
Because I'm a dork. Yeah.
yeah. Only, I mean, entertainment could be something like you've got a video channel that
Uh-huh.
you are, that you're doing
Some
training
sort of monthly
or
subscription.
monthly entertainment. Yeah, you have a YouTube channel that you do monthly subscription. You've got any kind of entertainment. There's all these other platforms that have come out for you to do that kind of stuff. So you have monthly subscription, and those can range from little as $2.99 a month, $2.99 a month, to you got platforms that are charging $300, $400, $500 a month, depending on what it is that you're consuming, and especially if it's at the enterprise level, it could be thousands a month. You could be a platform that's selling to Fortune 500, so the subscription fee is very high. So you might have, only 50 to 100 customers, but they're each paying you 10,000 a month, and you want to track that, and maybe you have them sign up for a year in advance with an upfront payment. So those are all things that require deferred revenue tracking, require monthly invoice tracking, and you want to know what does it cost to get these customers. And so we're continuing to build out features so that no matter what type of industry you fit in, you're going to be able to find Saasable very relevant for you.
Right. Definitely. And you were telling me when we spoke the other week about how with SaaS companies or recurring revenue companies, it you don't have assets sitting on the books. So it's kind of hard to talk to a banker or whatever about like what the actual value of the business is. So you want to talk more about that and how?
Yeah. So one of the pieces that we're building out right now, and we're in early versioning of it, and we're in early talks with banks and lenders about this, is recurring revenue companies, very much like service companies and SaaS companies. They don't have strong balance sheets generally. They don't have anything, no assets on their books, and because they're recurring revenue, they don't even really have AR most of the time, because they're charging customers either right away or pretty shortly. So there's no terms, right? And a bank, without assets, just because you have cash without other assets like AR, inventory, fixed assets, to the bank, you might as well be an alien, because they lend against collateralized assets, which includes accounts receivable. So a bank and most lenders would rather you have AR and open terms than be able to get your cash quickly. It's very odd. It's a very odd or backwards idea. It's because cash is, in their minds, not collateralizable. They can't collateralize it unless they put it into another form, like a CD or a locked money market account or something.
Because you could just take it all out tomorrow. Like
yeah,
you
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So a bank goes, okay, so banks, they don't know how to lend. A lot of banks don't know how to lend to this. So what Saasable is trying to do is, as we continue to grow, we are building a proprietary score, and we're going to be able to rate the health and signal to you the health of your recurring revenue business, and get you access to a lending network of banks and credit unions and alternative lenders and venture debt lenders and investors who lend into the recurring revenue space. And there are a variety of lenders that do that, and there's even more popping up right now that are doing that. And because they're seeing how lucrative and how many companies in all industries are getting into this, and how they're not balance sheet businesses anymore. There's like, who just goes out and starts, a $500,000 asset-based company on day one? You don't do that, right?
I don't know.
But what's crazy is you can get a loan because you bought a piece of equipment for that price, because that equipment is an asset base. How is that any more less risky than an innovative piece of software that has a lot of IP, but you can't lend against that IP, right? So you're going recurring revenue is what's important, and we want to be able to signal to banks and lenders how to lend to this space, and that's where we're working on as we've been building Saasable.
Well, and I mean, at the very least, what you're talking about, this dashboard here, should be able to help the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
You know, like even not necessarily having to wait until you you deploy out all the awesomeness that you continue to create. This helps.
Yeah, exactly. It helps a startup, helps an accountant, helps
Yeah.
a banker evaluating a company to lend to, helps investors evaluate a company. And because it's going to the raw source of data and pulling it in, it also says, hey, I'm not looking at a static Excel sheet or PDF that I know you probably could have doctored presenting to me. I'm looking at the actual data in real time.
And there's, again, there's something to be said for charts and graphs that makes it so much easier for non-accountants to look at and start to actually understand what's going on, or even me as an accountant. I just need the pretty colors. So it definitely makes a difference on things. So guys, what other questions do you have for Michael and Andrea? Like, I mean, you gotta it comes back to, sometimes it's hard to have demos with apps when it's you make it too simple.
Happy to answer anything. Happy to answer give advice about your firm, if that's what you need help with. I don't, I'm happy to answer anything, but would love questions.
Didn't you have some news recently too about your firm?
Yeah, Reconciled acquired a firm recently, so that was really exciting. We
Awesome.
Reconciled acquired a firm in Florida, so that was exciting. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So I feel like there's a different, it's almost, I don't know if it's two-way street. Like some people that go into the lifestyle business of bookkeeping, and some that like grow this thing bigger, whatever, like you are. I always had the thought that I had to go that direction, and I ended up figuring out, oh, I'm not a failure if I don't go the Michael's way. But yeah, what made you get into like really growing it and wanting to go that way?
Well,
I don't know.
I'm in general in life, I've been at for probably my whole life, and I'm still at until it gets tiring or I need to retire or I croak. Like I continue to be in a growth phase of my life where I love growing, whether that's personally growing. I can't grow my height anymore. I'm basically going to be short always, but
so you got to do something.
Yeah, I got to do something in regards to growth, right? If I can't grow my height, I can grow my character, I can grow my personality, I can grow my circle of friends and my network. But I also can grow the company, my companies. And I'm what you would call a serial entrepreneur. I love starting things, I love growing them to stability, and I love giving a path for scale. And so that's with everything that I work on. And so with Saasable, we're in it for the long term to win. We're in it to see what we can do to disrupt a space that has been pretty dormant. And you see a lot of different innovative tools coming out for accountants and for startups. We think we are and continue to be one of those. But we also look at opportunities that come to fruition in front of us and pivot on those. And so early on, we had the idea for SaaSiQ. We had the idea for this scoring mechanism. We call it SaaSiQ.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have it fully fleshed out until COVID started happening. We realized, oh, this is our opportunity to really test out, even during this time when we're not traveling, we're not going to accounting conferences. We have all this time now. We can talk to early customers about Saasable, but we also can really vet out whether the scoring part of this is going to work, and if lenders and banks really want to get into the space, which we think they do, because we're seeing so many pop up now, more and more pop up now. So yeah, I've just always been growth oriented, and I think, but I think it's really, it depends on where you are at in life and what you want to do, and there's nothing better or worse between somebody who wants to run a lifestyle company versus a scaling company. It's no different,
How did you make that first step, or what do you think is the first transition to scaling past just you or two people, or yeah?
Yeah, I think this is with any company. It doesn't matter if it's with a service company or a product-based company like Saasable. It's and founders can get into this trap too, even with founders with multiple people, with multiple founders. You can get this trap of, hey, we could do everything ourselves. We could figure it all out ourselves. And if you can do everything yourself, figure it all yourself, well, you're your own trap.
Yeah.
Because you become the bottleneck. The reality is you're not going to be great at everything. You're not even going to be excellent at everything. You might be decent at a lot of things, and you're going to be excellent at one thing. The goal of scaling is to focus on the thing you're excellent at, and let find other people who are way better at the other things you're not excellent at. So that's, at Saasable, we were quick, like, to find Andrea, to find our US tech lead. Those were hires that we didn't necessarily immediately plan, but we said, hey, if we want to scale and grow, we want to get traction, we need to get more bodies in here, because there's only so much me and my co-founder Ali could do together, right? There's only so much we could cover. Ali's really focused on product development, overseeing the tech team, and making sure that we stay on our trajectory of building out the APIs and the SaaSIQ score, and really articulating that product and that roadmap really clearly. I'm focused on fundraising. I'm focused on higher level deals and sales. I'm focused on the conversations with the banks, talking to investors constantly, or
And
potential
somehow
investors and
spending
partners.
time with me.
Yeah, spending time with you.
Like,
Yeah,
you're doing all these huge things,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
here, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, doing webinars, being kind of the front face of the company, and leveraging my network and my experience with Reconcile, leveraging that for Saasable's benefit. That's all important. Well, I can't add, hey, I got to talk to every early customer, and I've got to do all the different admin tests. Like, there's all these things, and I have to update the Saasable website and reach out to partners and webinars. So, customer success, a big part of Andrew's job is, from start to finish, what's that lifestyle cycle of the customer? How do we make that whole experience enjoyable? So from the moment of when they hear about Saasable, how do they hear about it? When do they hear about it? All the way to they sign up for it. What is that experience like? Let's say they don't like it. What's the bottleneck? How do we make that better? And so she's interfacing with, like, any startup, wearing multiple hats, interfacing with a lot of people on the team, to help us. And all of our team members have had to do that, just leveraging different hats to make it happen.
So, Andrea, if you are customer success, what are some examples of customer success?
I guess.
I always Michael laughing over there because I called her out. It's like asking your question. Yeah.
I mean, customer success so far looks like when we find, I guess, our brand evangelists, our bookkeepers that are very similar to Michael. He's a very good kind of like target profile customer, that are extremely frustrated with doing things in Excel and Google Sheets. And they have sometimes found us through Michael's network, but a lot of times through organic search, because there is a big pull of finding anything to make lives easier. And we live in the age of automation. So success is people who are signed on, they're very excited, eagerly awaiting version 2, and they've been, regularly playing around in the dashboard and using it with, at least one, if not more, of their clients.
Do you see them add on more clients pretty quickly, or how do you think, what's the best way to, like, I don't know, add it to a client? I mean, you don't really need the client to be involved in it, right?
Right. You can go ahead and add any client file and you can play around with it. And then, of course, it's great to start using it for your advising. A lot, I don't know, Michael, do you want to take this, where there is kind of a little bit of a bottleneck with, well, not bottleneck, but version 2 has all of these very exciting features. So people are kind of eagerly waiting for that, to kind of onboard all of their clients at once. There seems to be kind of this, like, hurry up and wait. We want to get, like, everybody on board and kind of make an announcement to their firm.
Oh,
which I
I
think is
see.
an interesting approach.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of work.
Yeah,
Well, and
we're yeah, like because we've only been out for a few months, it hasn't been, we actually haven't been around that long, and we just got in the App Store, the QuickBooks Online App Store 2 months ago, so it's been like very fresh. Most accounting firms that have more than one customer they're working with that's recurring revenue, they're basically signed up for the product, they're trialing it for free on that one file, because they're seeing, okay, how do I use this, making sure it works and everything, and then how do I roll it out and what's the plan. And by the time they put the plan together, we're going to have probably version 2 out and a lot of other features, but also the price is probably going to change as we continue to increase features. So right now we have a really great price, $159 a month for accounting firms, bookkeepers, unlimited QuickBooks files.
Wow.
Unlimited users. So just $159 a month, you could put as many files as you want. That price ain't going to be around forever. And so we're using it to get early users on and to say, hey, look, get on now, because the price that we're charging, everyone is telling us, yeah, you have a great price right now. And that's not going to necessarily be the price that stays on forever. So whoever comes on now, they're going to be able to keep that price going forward. So we're telling people, sign up, like get on there. And what's important for us is we want to continue to we want access to more QuickBooks files so that we can continue to make the product better. And a variety of industries that have recurring revenue, so we make the product better. So we do have quite a bit of accounting, small, bookkeepers, accounting firms, as well as small startups that are trying out the product as well. And those individuals, they also can sign up for free. But if they want to add any more than themselves as a user, then they need to start paying their
jump into
that subscription, which is a different price, for them.
Do you find it like what you're explaining to me just gives me the idea of what I tell a lot of people about is so many of us wait to release something and like want it to be perfect and keep on delaying the release of anything because they want it to be perfect. And it's just a matter of you gotta
release.
Go, because it's never going to be perfect.
No,
on
it's
there.
never.
So, I mean, and then here, if you're going to add this as a thing, you don't want to start like adding advising services and not necessarily get more money out of it. But, January 1st is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Or December 1st, whatever you want to do, be like, hey, we have this whole new system, and just send it out to your clients. Be like, hey, and so what if version 2 is not out yet? This,
this
we
is
got
the start
this
of the
here.
Conversation. Yeah, exactly. We're not using anything right now. Let's start the conversation. Yeah. And by the way, you could trial this with customers. One recommendation could be you sign up for the product. It's only going to cost you $159 a month right now.
Right.
You could say to all your customers, hey, for the month of November, December, I'm giving you 2 30-minute sessions for free.
Right.
And what your goal would be is to get as many of those customers to sign up with you for an advisory contract for 2021. Right? It's very simple. It's an easy way to ease them in. Give them 2 30-minute sessions. Say, I want to go through this dashboard with you. I want to talk about recurring revenue and the metrics, and I want to make some big goals for 2021. And by the way, here's my agreement, my proposal to work with you 2021 for 12 months. And
so we've just figured out the funnel here. So give out 2 meetings in December and then kick it off in January, have a new contract ready to go, have your system of like what day are you going to have a meeting every month? Or are you just sending whatever you're going to do? And it doesn't have to be a perfect system figured out exactly at this moment.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you have your contract and go.
Exactly. And what you do, you spent $159 a month. Your price doesn't go up. You have one fixed price, and now if you get one CFO contract with a customer, you've more than paid for this product already, more than paid for.
Yeah.
So that's what we're telling people, get signed up early. And QuickBooks Online, it wasn't perfect when it came out first. Far from it.
Don't even give that impression that it's not perfect now. I mean,
it's not perfect now, exactly.
But so it's like
fine. It works.
Yeah, I'm like, don't even say it's not perfect.
Yeah.
This is like,
it works.
This is a good product.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
it
because
works.
You're going to add on to it.
Yeah.
We all evolve and make things better. This is good. This is worth the investment.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. Don't worry about all the other stuff.
Exactly.
This is worth it right now. And like what you're talking about with these clients, because I have several clients that are, have some sort of recurring, and they end up being really, really easy clients because the transactions are pretty much the same every month. That, things are going on the credit card, maybe not paying out too many bills. Maybe you got to do some nuances with payroll or something with contractors or whatever. But you kind of feel like, I'm doing this. What could I be charging more for on things? And so, just adding on that advisory thing to those clients ups that monthly charge to them, and again, makes it a better relationship and all that sort of stuff. And it's not a hard leap to get there. Like, I feel like so many people are freaked out. Like, I need to be able to know so much to have a conversation with my client. Like, no,
you don't.
It's really getting them to report about their business back to you.
Yeah. And it's asking good questions. At the end of the day, it's about asking good questions.
So, that's all it really is. So this, in my mind of how it can help bookkeepers and accountants is, if you do have recurring revenue clients, it's a way to increase your monthly billing to them. And it's a pretty easy path to get there. Like, you gave us the funnel, have a couple meetings, and then, if you have, I don't know how many clients, like, I've gotten rid of most of my clients, so I have like hardly anything now. So it's hard to like, how many clients you have, 20, 50, whatever clients or more, just offer up, like you said, a meeting, and then how many of them hit, like, you get a 10%, 20%,
You're right. And you only need a few, you only need like one or two, and you've got now more revenue than you did before you started the whole process.
Only taking a little bit of extra time. And it's, it's December, but you got that thing of, the best part is, let's start the year off right.
Yes.
Let's get it going.
Yes.
Exactly. And just kick it off, go from there. Sorry. And that's the thing is, like, I feel like what my goal in most of these demos and everything is to find these nuggets to help out bookkeepers be like, oh, I can make more of my business and help more and make money at, more profit at the end of the day off of this. And and that's what you're talking about with scaling, like that. I'm excited. Sorry. I don't know if anyone's dealing with my craziness. There's not any new chat or anything, but what do you guys think about it? I'm excited about it. Like, I can totally visualize where you go with a practice to be able to manage all of this and go with it. So you said you can have view only access to it, right? Is there a print or anything, or?
We're working on that, and we're working on a print or an exportable PDF in Excel. We have been getting that request because there's a lot of bookkeepers or accountants that do email stuff still to their clients, or so we had built it assuming people just go into the dashboard and look at it online, but obviously a large accounting audience does emails still, so we're building that into the second version as well. So there's gonna be a lot released with the second version.
And I've heard, like, a lot of people too out there will actually record videos for their clients and send them to them. So, like, that you don't need, you could just go through it and send it over. Just don't make them super long, because your clients aren't going to watch them all.
Right.
Could you imagine an hour-long thing?
So, hey, let me explain to you for an hour.
About your financials from last month. I don't know if they could handle that, but it definitely, anything where you can see the face and have that conversation helps. Too. So awesome. Well, I don't think there's anything else out there, unless you have anything else you want to add on this.
No, that's it. Thank you so much for having us on, and thank you for the guests that came to look. Oh, great. Kevin
now we get a question.
That's
all of us went, what are they saying about customizing the look of the colors, and are we going to be able to do that?
We're working on right now. We're just working on the graphs, the time period We're working on making sure you
Okay.
can select the time periods you want. You can customize time periods going
Uh-huh.
all the way back to, you know, as far back and as and forward as possible. Colors and graphs and stuff. That's a feature that we can put that request in and see where that would fall into. That's actually the first time I've heard that one.
I like the option of arrangements.
Yeah, arrangement. Yeah, I think we definitely will be building that where you can put the boxes.
Yeah.
Where do you want them to be? Yeah.
Me and I'm having to get over my perfectionism. Someone told me that a long time ago. Like, you just need to stop being perfect. I might say, like, I'm not sure about the high priority of changing colors, you know, of things. Like, when I started my practice, I'd spend like an hour or two customizing an invoice for a client just so it was pretty and matched their brand. I don't do that anymore. I don't know
Right.
how
It's
much
not
value
it's not
that
worth it.
added versus just
Not
making
worth
me
it.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And colors are an interesting thing because there's a psychology around it, and we do get feedback. One of our advisors is a data scientist at Google, and
Okay.
he builds these dashboards for Google's executives and for Google's managers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so there is a psychology around colors and what they signal and signify, what they mean, and how easy should you be able to see them, what should pop and be highlighted or not. And so we've tried to stick with colors that allowed you to visualize really clearly what's going on. But
You
we'll
mean you don't
continue
want to do red for revenue?
Yeah, exactly. Red for revenue or exactly.
That's always a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that makes sense where you want to be able to change the color scheme at least to match company logo colors, especially if you're trying to white label it and
Yeah, I'm sure the white label thing would
yeah,
be something that someone look at in the future. But
yeah.
yeah, again, if you're just having the conversation and just talking it on a Zoom or whatever, looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
guys. Thank
Yeah,
you,
definitely.
Andrea, for joining us.
Yeah.
And yeah, this will be up on the site within a day or two. And come back, tell your friends, and watch it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and like I said, you can go sign up at getsaasable.com for free. So like you want
There
to
you
just try the
go.
product out, go for free right now, connect your own bookkeeping firm to it and start working on it and use it and give us feedback. Where Andrea and I are both here to get all the feedback you can provide, and we make it really easy to get the feedback to us. And our software team are very iterative. So if we see something rise up as a really, often asked for request, we try to work on it as fast as possible. So.
Awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yeah, like I said, we'll be up. Thank you guys. And we will see everyone. If you guys are around tomorrow, I have the demo with OnPay. So feel free to join us for that as well. But till then, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.